G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today, we're on Gorge to witness two Conqueror 3 players face off on the ranked ladder. Ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure it is to have your company today. Now, I will just say before we get into the meats and potatoes of, well, not the meats and potatoes, but rather the meat and potatoes, there's only one meat in this dish, make sure you go check out EGC TV. It's happening tonight, 15 GMT, so whenever this goes live, I don't know, maybe an hour or two after it, something around those numbers. Go check them out. You've got the EGC Winter Series that's happening at the moment, or the Winter Masters, rather. So go check them out. Links down below in the description, and let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the north of the map, in the color green, playing as the Chinese, it's Lash. And on the south side of the map, in the color teal, I was going to say pink, I don't know why, in the color teal, playing as the English, we've got Flotter Otto. He is back once again. The only reason I remember that we've had him before is because of his name, which is typically a good thing, right? You want to remember people because of their names or their faces. Anyway, if you're enjoying this Age of Empires 4 content, make sure you hit that like button down below. It really helps out the traction of the videos. And let's get to it, because we've got two Conqueror 3 players here. Both of these guys rated around the 17 to 1800 mark, which is pretty damn decent, right? Like, if you were to think about as a percentage of the player base, where do they currently sit? I don't know exactly, but I would guess probably like the top 0.5%. Probably pretty close to that, maybe even a little bit higher. Maybe like, it could be either way on those numbers, and you never really know, because games stack their ratings or their rankings differently. And sometimes they do it to make you feel better. Everybody can be Conqueror, and sometimes they're very competitive. Like, I remember with Deadlock, when I was active playing Deadlock, and it was like there was like one Eternus 6 in all of Australia. That's kind of wild. That's like their Conqueror 3, basically. Imagine that, like a single Conqueror 3 player. It's kind of cool, though. I do like that, the exclusivity of it. But look, who knows? Maybe we see some changes to the ranking systems. Honestly, I'd love to see that. It's a small little change, but I would love to see a change like that. Now, we've got Age Ups about to come through here. Probably going to be seeing the Abbey of Kings. Normally in this matchup is the English. Abbey of Kings into 2 TC is the correct play to make, as long as you follow up with a white tower. So far, everything is looking absolutely as it should. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, expect to see that Imperial Academy put down. He's got a beautiful little spot back here for it. This is incredible. Hits, as long as he actually gets it, though. We'll have to wait and see. Surely he's not going to miss it. I mean, you'd be crazy not to see this one. 3 to 4 vills on the Imperial Academy. Rush that bad boy up. Let's see what the timing is for him. He actually did open with an Imperial official, so he might not actually rush it. He could just do a 1 or 2 vill. Okay, and he does spot it. This is a pretty easy spot. So with this Imperial Academy, he's going to be hitting absolutely everything. Hits the lumber camp. He's going to hit the mining camp. Hits the first mill. Hits the second mill over here. And look, even if you're lucky, might even hit this lumber camp. Probably even hit this lumber camp over here. Like, this is one of the best Imperial Academies you will ever get as the Chinese. Now, next question for me is going to be about whether we see a little professional scouts or not. I couldn't possibly rhyme professional scouts in there as well. But, this is one of those matchups where it does make sense for you as the Chinese to be doing it, because as a civilization, the Chinese do very, very well with professional scouts, because not only are they getting that faster gather rate, they're getting it underneath the safety of their town center, and they're also grabbing that extra 20% from the Imperial official. They're getting rebates on their technologies like survival techniques, which underneath the Imperial Academy is going to be doubled. So it's just, there's so many reasons that you want to do that. And on top of that, you're up against the English, right? Like, up against a civilization that is typically a little bit more defensive in this matchup, like to open a little bit more defensive, and naturally that means you can come out and potentially snipe this hunt away. So there's a lot of food to be had out on this map today. So hopefully we see Lash looking to make a smart decision here and move into professional scouts. Alternatively, you could see Flotter Otto put his town center over here. I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, realistically, where do you even put the TC down here as the English? I think it's probably just going to be on the gold. There's no two ways about it. Town center here, some farms here, and probably white tower to the front. I think that's the best way that you'd play it. You could also go white tower in the middle as well, but it's kind of hard to balance it when you've got like your house and your mining camp right here. But we'll see what the play is, because he's aged up here. He's up at 436. Very nice timing here for him with the Abbey of Kings. We'll check in on that north side, and it's going to be a barracks opening. And I guess this kind of makes sense, right? If we ride on board with Lash, you can see that he has spotted out the Abbey of Kings from the enemy. So he knows that there will inevitably be the threat of that king. And look, one of the things that you can see in this matchup is a more common sort of Song dynasty opening into 2 TCs. And that can be quite decent, but you've got to remember that the English have a very powerful castle timing, especially off the 2 TC into White Tower. Not as strong as it used to be back in the day, but still pretty damn good. Timing here looking pretty good for Flotter Otto. Going to be 5 minutes and 15 seconds on touchdown, but I think we got it out at about 5:10 there, so definitely not too bad, and does put it exactly where we thought he was going to go. So far, so good for these players. Stable now going to be coming out as well for Lash, so we'll have to keep an eye on exactly what the play is for him. So I do like the fact that he opens up with the racks. That way he's able to neutralize any potential threat from the enemy king. And at the same time, he's able to think about moving into professional scouts. We do see it's already through. It's not even a thought at this process. It is an action. He has followed through. We failed to see that one. It can be very difficult to spot that out with the Chinese just because of how fast the Imperial officials will be supervising. So you can see right here, it's an extra 150% speed. So that means if something's going to take a minute at 150% speed, that'd be 25 seconds, I think, because 100% speed would be 30 seconds. 200% speed would be 20 seconds. I think. Maybe I'm mistaken. I could be mistaken, but anyway, we'll work it out, and we'll come back to you later with when the numbers have been arranged. But speaking of arrangements, have a look at this as the scouts start to come out. No supervisor over here just at the moment, but honestly, 2 spears to open us up with is absolutely fine. And I love this from Lash. I think this is super smart. You know, one of the differences between, say, a Conk 3 player and a Platinum player is that both of these players will spot this out, right? You both see the Abbey of Kings. And both of you will make the same direction or the same decision when it comes to your response, which is the early racks. The Conqueror 3 player makes only 2 spears because they know, okay, that's going to be my main threat here. I need to stop here. Whereas the Platinum 5 player is just going to be making a whole bunch of spears. And funnily enough, as I'm literally saying that, he's getting more and more spears out. But normally you would see like the Plat player wouldn't really know to stop making those spears. Like they might have 3 spears over here and 3 spears over here, and they might still be making spears. And it's like, realistically, at this stage of the game, what is the cav threat from the English? Like, have you scouted a stable? Like, what we've scouted is a second town center. And what's the most common thing you see after a second town center? Of course, it is going to be that castle age. So I think from the perspective of Lash, he's a little bit of a Plat move here. He's actually going to a 5th spear. I can't believe I've said this. I love that I called it out, and I'm like, yeah, so this is an absolute Conqueror 3 move right here. And and then he goes against it, and then he's like, nah, I need to make more spears. Like, why do you need to make more spears? What are you worried about? What are you fussing about, friend? I mean, now, to be fair, he could just be thinking, okay, the enemy's going to make knights. And we're not thinking about Castle Age for a while here, so we might as well just get our spears out while we can. Fair enough. Okay, if that's the play, then so be it. But I don't know. I feel like you could probably invest those resources a little bit more reasonably, a little bit more intentionally in that time frame. But we'll check in now. I will also apologize here for the colors that we've got between these 2 guys. I know it has been a bit of an issue. The most common issues I've seen with colors has been normal blue, so just like standard blue, and purple. I actually really love that matchup. I think it looks really cool to see those colors clashing. But apparently that's not good for some colorblind people. On top of that, this matchup is difficult, not just for me, but for everybody. I suspect this is not a fun one. Like, look on the minimap and try and determine whose units are whose. Like, this looks blue, and this looks blue. Like, they both look blue. This is the difficult spot. It's very difficult on the minimap to actually make out what's happening. When it comes to the units, I can see the difference. I don't know if you colorblind folk are able to see the difference as well, but it's not a fun task. So anyway, apologies. Give me a sec here. Sorry, I was gonna mute my mic, but my Go XLR, which is like the little thing that I use to mute my mic, it's so far away from me at the moment. Because I have my legs up on the table, so I push it all the way back, and I forgot to bring it forward. So apologies, you're gonna have to listen to me clear my throat. But you know what? You can also listen to me doing. You can listen to me drinking my Red Bull, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. That's a good Red Bull. That is a good Red Bull. It's probably been out of the fridge for about 45 minutes at this point. I'm down to the last 20%, but it's still good. It's still good. We like it. All right. Well, Lash is slowly picking up the deer on the map now. Keep in mind that each one of these hunts represents about 2,500 food. So when you're taking those hunts away from your enemy, that's 2,500 food they're not getting. To be honest, they'll probably never get it because they're playing the English. You will never get this. But you're taking that. So it's a swing of 5,000. And obviously when you double that up for a second hunt, then that's a swing of 10,000. So it can be very powerful to have all of these deer underneath your town center. But we do now start to see the buildings of Castle Age just coming through for both players. Lash, as well as the English player, now going to be looking to go towards Castle Age. What direction does Lash go into? I'm tempted to say here, you probably would be thinking about going into the Imperial Palace. Makes quite a bit of sense here, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So Imperial Palace at the front of the base definitely makes a lot of sense here. What kind of value are you realistically going to be getting out of the clock tower right now? If we think about it, you haven't gone for a second town center. Your economy's not that big. Normally, if you're going for a second town center, you'll be hitting Castle Age around 70, 80 vils. So you can justify going for the clock tower because you've got a lot more resources to spend on the nest of bees. And while you could technically make nest of bees right now, would it really be worth it? Because are you going to be able to defend them? What happens if your enemy sees that and then all of a sudden there's just a whole bunch of knights on them? You're not going to be able to defend it. Not nearly as easily, whereas if you've got that larger amount. But have a look at this. Vil's going to get caught out underneath the town center. Let's see if we can actually spot them. It's very difficult. I said town center, but it's underneath the white tower. He's actually going to pick off quite a few here. That's 2 already he's taken out. Vil's actually going to turn around, and a huge mistake coming in for Flotter Otto. Tell you what, these are Kong 3 players, but we're starting to see a few of the Plat 3 vibes, that is for sure. Sorry, why am I calling out Plat 3 in particular? Like, Plat 3 is a decent rank. This is, I mean, look, to be fair, I mean, I'm sure there are Plat 3 players that have made this mistake before, but it's one of those things where keeping your white tower close to your town center is incredibly important, and it's part of the thing that we often see with English players at the high level. Normally, you try and have this kind of crossfire where you've got the white tower that's hitting both of your town centers, or able to cover both of the town centers. But the age up does come through, and now with the white tower online, he's going to be able to return fire here. He's already taken out 6 vils. Now keep in mind, on top of that, you've got the 2 town center from the English versus Lash. While he's only got 1 TC, he does have Song Dynasty. And that means that he is still pumping out vils relatively quickly. He's only 8 vils behind, despite this second town center coming up at the 5-minute mark. It was a very quick town center, but now we do start to see the monasteries being thrown down for both players. Lash in the north, supervising up his monastery. We do see what appears to be the first of the monks making its way out. Second monk is right behind him. We can see he's guarding up these relics. Is he bringing 2 monks down for this relic? He really wants to make sure that this relic is his. Just in case we don't have enough coverage on the first one, we're going to bring the second one. I like it, Lash. I like the way you're thinking. All right, well, we'll check in with... have a look at that line of sight that he's got as well. Beautifully positioned at the front of the base here. It always frustrates me greatly when I see like somebody put the Imperial Palace right here. It's like, man, you know that thing's got amazing line of sight. Like, just chuck that bad boy at the front of the base. It is just... It's beautiful. It's lovely to see. All right, first relic now going to be picked up. I'm curious to see how Lash looks to play this. I would suspect normally what you see is a focus on the bottom side, and then all those units are going to move towards the top side. So going to be imperative here that he looks to try and deny this out. Lash also going to be spotting out that monk now as the enemy religious unit makes its way towards that top side. 7 vils the difference here. 6 vils lost by Flotter Otto. Farming economy starting to really build here. He's at 24 farms? 24 farms. Not a bad number of farms to have about this time. Keep an eye out for that farm transition, or that larger farm transition. So normally when you go up to 32 or 40 farms, he'll be looking for an Imperial Age. So that's going to be really key. And I think that's a big question that we'll have right now in this game. And you can see, like, this is the difference, right, between making this mistake with your second monk and not making that mistake with the monk. I mean, he's got to get the relic in the end, but it's like, it could have been a difference, right? Whereas had he sent that second monk out to the other side to pick up the relics, then it would have been a different case. Speaking of relics, so have a look at this one. We do have quite the fight that is starting to occur. More relics towards the top side. And I love the fact that Lash is still just picking up these deer ever so slowly. He's just running them in from individual hunts across the map. He's not too fussed about getting that timing down and, you know, bringing in the entire hunt. And oh, he's stolen it away once again. Looking to try and keep this monk alive. Should be able to find it. Indeed he does as the night goes down, and Lash now holding 4 of the 5 relics, with the 5th one safely behind his base. And that's the difference. I mean, when it comes to this matchup, it's important to remember that if you do go for the 2 town center opening as the Chinese, you will very often be behind in the castle age. As the Chinese, you often open up with knights and then have to move into crossbows. But Lash here, he's not behind. In fact, he puts down the second town center now. Oh, this is beautiful. Lash, I'm just gonna say it. I love this. And I think this is fantastic. And when the next patch drops for Age of Empires 4, I'm going to be jumping back on the rank ladder. I'm going to be playing the Chinese, and this is probably the kind of strat I'm thinking of running, because it makes the most sense, right? He's aggressive, he's able to defend if he needs to, and he's taking all of the deer on the map. It's just, he's getting full marks. On top of that, he hits Castle Age timing beautifully. The only critique I've got is a little bit too many spears. But that's all right. That's all right. We'll allow him off on that one. All right, towards the north, Sacred Site has been neutralized. He was looking to try and capture it. Not going to happen. Longbow numbers starting to build now. And look at all the production at the front of the English base, up to 71 vills here. Flash about to zoom past him. Not really. I mean, it's 2.66 town centers against your 2, so it's still going to take some time. But over time, we will see that Lash should be able to overtake Flotter Otto. All right, well, let's check in and see how he's doing. As the farm transition's well and truly on the way here. He's gone 2 farms deep on the backside. I don't want to be correcting too many mistakes here, folks, but look, I'm sure you can already suspect what I'm about to say. There's no point in putting these 3 farms down super far away from the granary if we've still got spots that are open down here. We can 100% throw this row of farms down, but ideally we want to make sure we throw down all of the ones that are immediately adjacent first. But we did see a little bit of a usage right there of the special ability of the Chinese, the Imperial Palace. We saw all of those villages light up in the wood line. That's why you were able to see it. They were not map hacks, I assure you. They were legal map hacks. We'll call them that. All right, well, the build-up is definitely happening right now. And I think the big question is going to be who hits Imperial first, because both of these civilizations do have access to defensive Imperial landmarks. So the first one, of course, it's going to be a Berkshire Palace, and it would be no surprise to see it today. Especially in this matchup, it's quite nice at sniping out any potential nest of bees. Meanwhile, on the north side, Lash could potentially look to move into the Great Wall Gatehouse, another very good landmark on this map. So we'll keep an eye out on him. Now, I will also apologize in advance if I say the word wonder. In Age of Empires 3, these landmarks are called wonders. So that basically we had 3 civs: the Chinese, the Indians. The Indians? Yeah, the Indians. I feel like a little bit weird saying that. The Chinese, the Indian, and the Japanese, and they aged up with wonders. And anyway, so I'm starting to play Civ 7 now. And I'm not even kidding you. They've got buildings in that game, and they're called wonders, and I'm calling them landmarks. And I'm like, shit, I gotta correct myself. I can't be calling them landmarks. I was recording a video and saying like, oh, and this is a beautiful landmark, and I was like, wait, no, it's not a landmark. It's a wonder. Anyway, raids coming through on the top side. Lash losing out 3 vills for the moment. He might be potentially losing a couple more as they do take fight, but Palace Guards as well as the Horsemen going to look to try and chase away the remnants of this English raiding force. Meanwhile, towards the front, Flotter Otto really putting the pedal to the metal. We'll switch it over to income per minute. We're 18 minutes into the game, or about to be 18 minutes into the game. So we'll get a little bit of an idea on where they currently stand. 10 vills behind Flotter Otto is at the moment. Rather, 10 vills ahead Flotter Otto is. Wants to avoid losing any vills at the front. Lash falls back. Let's do a little bit of a stock take here. So on the side of Lash, we've got 1,100, 2,500, 3,600, 3,800. On the side of Flotter Otto, that's 3,800. So we've got 14, 15, 23, 3,000, 3.2. So not too bad right here. A decent economy is relatively fair. The main key difference that I'm seeing here is the fact that we've got 5 relics in the hands of Lash, and he's going into Yuan Dynasty. Now, normally you would not go this early, but the fact that he's got 5 relics is very important. That means that he's going to have access to the pagoda. So expect to see 3 pagodas put down right here at the back of the base. That's normally where you'd see them put down, and he's going to look to move those relics inside the pagodas immediately. Pagodas are powerful because they give you essentially the Tithe Barns bonus without actually going to Imperial Age. So it's a nice little way to get that bonus without actually being in Imp, and technically it's actually better than the Tithe Barns bonus. We'll check in and see whether he's actually dropped it down. It doesn't look like it just yet. And now towards the top side, Flotter Otto could be in a bit of trouble here. There's a lot of infantry as well as cav looking to chase out this army. 19 minutes into the game, we're still really yet to see a huge battle between these two. You can see less than 10 resources difference between the two on the destroyed value. He got one. He got another one, so it changes. Look at the size of that army coming out right now. Flotter Otto really looking to put the pressure on Lash in this game. We'll check back into the top side. Looks like the granary's going to be going in the north. Surprised that he didn't take this position here. This is actually a really good spot because he's got the berries. So you put the granary down and then you just slowly add the farms in. It's a little bit more awkward. Maybe he just couldn't get it in. But I think you shouldn't have any trouble getting it in. Maybe he could just have OCD, and if you couldn't get it in perfectly, then you never want to get it in. Unless it's perfect. All right, well, outpost coming up as well here for our English player. More raids coming through from this on this east side. Up towards the top, though. Have a look at this. Flotta Otto managed to get out unscathed and comes through in on the backside. He has been relentless with these forces, but Lash on the defense has also been superb. Meanwhile, Sacred Site is going to be contested, shortly going to be taken out. Flotta Otto runs straight past all these vills. Now manages to spot them out on their exit route as well. So any of these vills that try and run, and he's going to be able to cut off all of their heads. And look at that vill count. Look at that vill count as the English player manages to slowly work down the forces, or at least the vill count of his Chinese opponent. Only 4 vills make it to safety. He takes out 23, and we can see those pagodas are indeed now coming up for Lash. We're right on board with him as he looks to regain control in this game. It's been difficult for him, that is for sure. He's got a lot of resources in the bank. He could be thinking about going Imperial right now, but I will warn him, and I will warn you right now, this is not a good time to go Imperial. I mean, you could... Where do you put it down? You could put it down right here. This is a good spot to put it down, but then what happens if they go right? Well, you've got Barbican. You need to put down a keep as well. So you need to be on stone. Do you have any backstone? We do have backstone. It's pretty far away, though. So I'd be tempted right now to move vills out to this backstone. And you want to go for Great Wall Gatehouse at the front, and then a keep over on this side. And then I think you're fine. But instead, it's going to be Flotta Otto that drops the keep. And it's going to be right in the front of the base here now for the Chinese. Where are those vills? He'd be moving up with a whole bunch of vills. At least he should be there. Oh my lord, 24 vills coming all the way from base to put down what could be the final nail in the Chinese coffin. I was going to say in the English coffin, but that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, it's an English coffin. It's just not for the Englishmen. It's you know, it was made by the Englishmen. They got a roaring coffin industry over there. A lot of people, a lot of dead people. That's how it goes typically. Springwood emplacement working in on those reinforcements. Numbers looking good here. Lash could be in a bit of trouble. The numbers are starting to look better and better for Flotta Otto. Look at this, 96 against 62. Still no age up through for Lash, but he wants it so bad. There it is. He puts it down. Nesta B's going to come out to help him. He's popped out a siege workshop. Mate, you got a clock tower. Never mind, he does actually use the clock tower, looking to try and hold on the defense. Where's that Great Wall Gatehouse going, though? I've got no idea where he's putting it down. At least it's not going to be in the base. Look at the numbers. All of a sudden, he's double his opponent. Flotta Otto looking to clinch this game away from Lash. Inside his base, straight to his face, he puts down the keep and says, "Know your place." And Flotta Otto now, at this point right here, it's imperative that Flotta Otto starts making siege. He needs to start working down these buildings immediately. Whether that is trebs, whether that is battering rams, he needs something and he needs it now. That's the keep. That's what this keep allows you to begin doing. But the Nesta Bees get decent value. Age up comes through. Where is that age up? It's down here on the gold. 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10 on that Great Wall Gatehouse. Absolutely 0 out of 10. I'm sorry. I know it's on the big goal, but mate, we got bigger fish to fry right now. We don't have to think. Where did it go? Where does it go? I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Is this what happens when you dive Nesta Bees? Is this what happens when you dive the Nesta Bees? Like, look at all the dead cav here. He was double his military pop. There were 2 Nesta Bees here. He tried to dive them. Only one of them managed to go down. The other one survived. And what? The Nesta Bee? Like, this is why I wish we had the kill count. I wish I could just click on this Nesta Bee and be like, oh, 46 kills. That's cool. How cool would that be? That would be super cool. All right, Siege Workshop coming down. He's already got a Siege Workshop. It's in the keep, but he is going to start moving into rams. So he's definitely heard my call. So we are going to start seeing more and more siege now on the front line. So we've actually got the double keeps coming through. He should also have, yeah, he's got the white tower back here. So I'd be tempted to be training battering rams with the white tower as well and rallying them up, because keep in mind they do train quite a bit faster from the white tower. They train it at 75% faster. So not quite double the speed. What's that work out to be, like 1.5? Because I'm not even, we've been there earlier on. I'm not going to do it. I'm sure there's going to be a comment left down below with like 116 upvotes. It says, Drongo, you've got no idea what you're talking about. This is what 150% is. This is what 75% is. And this is a potato. And it's just a little... It's a picture of me. Anyway. I've been called worse. All right, well, at the moment on the defense for Lash, let's check in and see what upgrades we've actually got in the way of elite units. Because at the moment, it doesn't really look like a whole lot. I see elite horsemen coming through, but that's realistically it. Where are the rest of the units? He's got a whole bunch of crossbows that are on standby. These guys are yet to get their upgrades. They've only got Yuan Dynasty, but now it's going to be Palace Guards getting their battle-hardened upgrade. Does he have the battle-hardened? Does he have the battle-hardened upgrade in addition to the elite upgrade? I don't even know. Where is his racks, dude? Here we go. No, he doesn't. So no elite upgrade just yet. He's only got the 6 Palace Guards, but Nesta B's doing a great job. And honestly, the Knobs are the perfect unit in this situation. Battering rams working their magic slowly and steadily, taking down that main town center. Lash in trouble. Nesta B's holding, and this is the problem with this push. How do you take out the Nesta Bs? I mean, this is just the problem with the state of Age of Empires. How do you take out the Nesta Bs? Is that a Fire Lancer? No, it's a Horseman. It's a Horseman, Drongo. Battle Hardened, still coming through. +3 ranged attack on the way as well. And look at the amount of units that just somehow spontaneously spawn here for Lash to defend him. It's like he's playing the Rus. He's just clicking buttons and they're just popping out. Nesta B's, just see that one. Nesta B's off the top rope. Treb gonna start working its magic as well. I'd love to see just a single bombard. A single bombard will push this back. You don't need to think about Trebs. We're in the Imperial Age here. And now those rams have been taken care of for the moment. Lash still sitting on all 5 relics. Keep in mind, we've got these 2 at the front that could have easily been sniped away. Relics together with a couple of monks up the rear. And hey, you would add 2 relics under your belt. So the little things. He was very keen on going right for the throat though. Treb's still gonna work it down. It looks like we've abandoned the front here. You could always just bring up, ideally in this situation with the Treb, you just want to leave 3 vills here repairing. And that should keep you pretty close to parity. All right, well, the farming transition for Lash is absolutely breathtaking. 47 farms at the moment. Compare that on the side of his opponent, Flotter Otto, who's sitting at 44. So pretty even Stevens when it comes to the villagers on farms. One thing to note, though, Flotter Otto going to be thinking about going Imperial. Does he do it? Does he dare do it? He's going to throw down a keep first. Honestly, one of the, I would be bringing even more vills. It's so hard. It's so hard to commit with the Nesta Bs, dude. Because the Nesta Bs get 1 volley off, and that's it. You've just lost your entire economy. He's up 40 vills at the moment, though. Things are looking good for him here. He's just got to play it well. And with the keep coming up online, this one's about to fall, but I think there's a world where you can go... Where do you go White Tower? I mean, or rather, Berkshire. I think you go for it, like, right here. Yeah. I think this is fine. I think this is really nice, actually. And you should be relatively safe from the threat of Nesta Bs. Big damage from the Knobs, though. Have a look at that. Longbow's getting absolutely evaporated. Like water on a hot day sitting out in the saucepan for some birds. Tell you what, you gotta help those birds out, fellas. All right. Does Lash just doesn't care? Lash sees this and he's like, yeah, look, you can make the Berkshire, bro. I'm still gonna kill it. Lash now starting to move over. He spots it. Needs to start splitting up the vills. Split up the vills now, Flotter Otto. Flotter Otto, split up the vills. Don't hold it. Don't hold it, Flotter Otto. You're going to lose them all if you do. He's going to hold. He's going to try. He's going to commit. But will he die? He cancels it at the last second, Flotter Otto. Not like this. Oh, you had that. You had that. You just got to split. You just got to do a bit of dancing. The way the Nesta B works, it focuses on those villagers, and he's going to click the ones on the front. All you do, take 3 up here, 3 over here, 2 up there, 1 over there, and just dance him around for a bit. He's going to be too distracted. Where does the Berkshire go down now? No, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Oh, you hate to see it. You really do. But the Nesta B's coming in right on time, exactly when he needed to. And honestly, credit to Lash, man. He timed that very well. Very well. He's fortunate. He's fortunate that Flotter Otto didn't like his luck, because I'm telling you right now, I think Lady Luck would have been on his side. Huge value. Not really. Not really. Biggest value landmark, NA. Actually, Lash is from Germany, so that doesn't even make sense. Biggest value landmark, DE. because they're German. So DE, it's Deutschland, right? That's where the DE comes from. And this is where I know there'll be another comment with like 46 upvotes, and half of them will be in German, and the upvotes themselves will be in German, and it'll say, actually, Drongo, DE. No, I'll stop it. I'll stop it. I got no idea where it comes from, dude. I'll leave it at that, all right? But let me know if I'm wrong. It's just, I think it's just going to be like country code, right? Like Australia, AU, Austria, AU, Antarctica. What's the country code for Antarctica? AT? I don't know. What's Austria? Austria's like AR, right? It's got to be. It can't be AU. We're AU. Get out of here, Austria. Don't be looking at me like that, buddy. That's my country code. I'm not. You think I'm going to share this with you, mate? You got another thing coming, mate. All right, let's just, we've been a little bit cursed today, haven't we? I wouldn't say we've been like wholly cursed, but definitely a little bit. Now, what's interesting is that the Vil count at the moment is, I would say, pretty favorable for Flotter Otto. But remember, the longer this game goes on, the worse it gets, because the relics will favor Lash as this game goes on longer. They're a huge amount of value that he's picking up for free. Not for free. I mean, he had to work hard for his money. You got to work hard for the money. But we can see right here, he has actually got his Tithe Barns in for the 2 remaining relics. He's getting a huge amount of gold that's coming through. 160 for these 2, and then 100 for each of these ones. So you're talking, what is it, 460 gold now coming through for Lash, not to mention all the other resources. But it's a huge amount of free resources that he is getting every minute. I think it might, can we, okay, we're mathing it. We got to math it right now. So we got 40, 40, 80, and 10. 40, 40, 80, and 10. So that means you're doing 170 out of each relic here. So that's 340. Today's definitely a math video, isn't it? Like we have been mathing ourselves crazy here. So what was it? 170 each, so 340. And then on these ones, 62, 62. Jeez Louise, those are, so we're talking 125, 150. Hold on. 220, 250. Each one of these is 750. Wait, all of these are 750? 100, 125, and then these are, wait, 62 plus 62 is 125. Well, it's technically 124, but you guys get the idea. I didn't realize how good pagodas were, dude. Those things are cracked. So this is 250 resources, so that's 750 plus the 340, and you're talking about 1,100 free resources that Lash is getting every minute over his enemy. And it's like, the best part is it's a whole different range of resources, right? It's not just one, it's absolutely everything. So it's just it's so nice to have. But now Flotter Otto at maximum population begins to make his way towards the enemy base. Elite upgrades have come through for the archers, for the longbows. Horsemen going to be running through to the back. And now on that front side, more and more horsemen coming out for Lash. And this is I'm gonna be honest, I got no idea what he's doing. I got no idea. What are you doing, Flotter Otto? Why are we marching all 50 of our longbows into the enemy base with not a single support unit? Flotter Otto! Flotter Otto! This is a bronze play. This is a bronze 1. Maybe bronze 2, but probably bronze 1. This is inadvisable. Nesta Bees, a little bit of misfire right there. Vil's gonna get caught on the backside though. Hold your horses. And we finally have some coverage now from the Great Wall Gatehouse, doing a great job of walling this gatehouse off. And Lash just cleans up completely. I gotta ask you, Mr. Otto, what were you thinking? Was he just throwing away the army? No, it can't be, dude. No, you're not throwing away the army. So to me, what makes sense here is we get a few more walls up, and then we look to try and play the center. And we can do that with Trebs. We can do that with a bombard. But most importantly, we need to do it with a secondary unit. We can't just be 100% longbow. It can work if you've got enough walls, and if you're on the defense. But on the offense like that, I don't know, Davey. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, well, let's check in on the side of Lash and see how he's doing. We'll ride on board with him as the stables have come up in the back of the base. He's got a huge amount of horsemen out towards the center. 38 horsemen at the moment. We don't see a Spirit Way coming out just yet, but to be honest, he doesn't really need it. But have a look at this. Pyrotechnics is on the way. And now things start to get scary. The best hand cannoneers in the game are the Chinese hand cannoneers. Incredibly powerful because of that range. And now we're right on board with Flotter Otto in the south, slowly being sieged down by an elite horseman and a sprinkled emplacement. Just working its magic. Berkshire Palace, definitely a lot less effective. Nesta Bees together with the horsemen. They've got their elite upgrades. Biology in on the side of Lash. No biology just yet for Flotter Otto. Where is he getting gold from at this point in the game? Gold definitely becomes the biggest challenge for him. 1,600 left on this bad boy. This one's got 3,300 on it. It's imperative that he regains cover, or regains control of that. It is so damn important that he regains control of that. Because right now, that's the only thing that's going to keep him in this game. Look at the amount of food that he's got. At this point, you need to be... This is a very awkward amount of resources to have, but you can market sell your food. Your market's dead, so you can't market sell. You want to be going, in this situation, mass horsemen, mass men at arms. You want to sell gold to get the upgrades, because that's going to give you as much efficiency on your resources. And then from there, you should be looking to secure your gold as much as you can. Potentially a trade route as well. But the Nesta Beast off the top rope. Gonna look to try and push back these longbows, able to find success. I wish I could get that message off my screen, but it just keeps popping up. Flotter Otto now. Holding on the defense. A huge amount of military units here from Lash. 36 minutes into the game. He rounds the top side and looks to commit what could be a big mistake. He's not fighting front on. His reinforcers are going to get intercepted along this little valleyway. But behind the scenes, Lash is just going to go after landmarks. Have a look at this. He says, Drongo, we don't care. We're just going after landmarks. We're only here for the landmarks. We care not for your army. But unfortunately, the army does get taken out. Nesta Bees were paying attention. It's always tough when the Nesta Bees do pay attention in the end. All right. Landmark number 1 goes down. Number 2, he's hunting for it. You can see the way he's moving. He's looking for it. He's like, where's that King's Palace? It's not really King's Palace. It's a white tower. It's down here. I'm not actually speaking to him. I didn't really tell him. I'm sure he can work it out himself. Horseman number starting to look a little bit better here for Flotter Otto. Moving into spears as well. Definitely a good choice to go into spears. Spears, horsemen, men at arms. A perfect combo in this circumstance. Exactly what you want. And then what you want to be doing is adding in hand cannoneers behind that. That's essentially the way that you want to be running this. All right, well, along the edge of the map, Lash holds on. English farms ablaze. He looks to set the stage. Nesta Bees firing at the longbows on the back line. The longbows on the back line slowly working down the Nesta Bees, but you can see the numbers are too damn thick right now for him. He can't actually deal with it. The Nesta Bees overwhelm him. Not a single melee unit made it to this back line. The defense from Lash was absolutely pure. Nailed it. Hit that bad boy for 10. It is long gone. A home run right there from Lash. And now what does he do? Just reinforce at the front and just slowly wait for this army to die out. That could be a play. He'll cause havoc on the front. I'd love to see a treble too, just to deal with this Berkshire. Just get it out of the way. And that's exactly what we've got. How about 3 trebs, Drongo? Will that do for you? That'll do just fine, Chief. That'll do just fine. All right, crossbows. Together with a little bit of a Nesta Bee raid. When was the last time you saw a Nesta Bee raid? I'm trying to think. I don't actually remember. I still remember. I remember the Spearman raids, but a Nesta Bee raid? Nesta Bee's now going to fire off on the enemy crossbows. Looking to try and tee down. Longbow's going to get smashed. You can see just how much damage they're able to do. He's got to have the additional barrels. There is no way he doesn't. There is so much damage coming through, and yeah, he's picked it up. No reload drills just yet, because we've got no bombards, and we've got no need. Big damage now from Lash, still being done. I just had a flashback. Do you remember when the Chinese had 12 range bombards? Weren't they the days? They were great. I miss those. I miss those bombards so much. China was such a powerhouse in the Imperial Age. They really wiped them out. They did them dirty. They made them more competitive in the early game, which I'm a big fan of. I think they did the right thing. Well, we brought a few more trebs out. I only asked for 2, but it turns out Lash got 5. He's double ordered us. Well, technically he's ordered 100, 200, 250%? No. He's ordered 100. He's ordered enough. He's ordered 150%. Because we asked for 2 and he's got 5. It's 150. No, 150% extra. There we go. We got it in the end. Hand cannoneer numbers building up here as well. Keep in mind they got pyrotechnics together with their serpentine powder. And now pushing in underneath the enemy Berkshire. Keep in mind we've already lost 1 landmark in this game. This will be the second. And with that, there will be 2 remaining. Slowly trying to repair it back up. The Trebs are firing too fast. He's keeping it alive, but unfortunately it goes down. And with that, he'll be able to push in underneath without the risk of boiling oil, without the risk of being dumpstered by that Berkshire. And as you know, when the Berkshire falls, the English fall. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Make sure you go check out Lash. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can watch him live over on Twitch. And of course, check out EGC TV's Winter Masters. It's happening right here, right now. Well, not here. I'll leave a link. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.